Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is another community cast, and once again sent in by Tallahassee. I know, I've been casting a lot of his games lately, but he keeps sending me good ones. So, you know, what's a guy to do? Because I'm not getting any good replays myself at the moment. So, also, thanks to everyone else who's been sending me replays. I will be casting some others. It looks like, but once again, sorry if I don't get round to yours. I'm being sent quite a few, so bear that in mind. But yeah, guys, this one is it's a lot of fun. There's a Luminarch. I mean, do I need to say anything more? There's a Luminarch. Every game with a Luminarch is a lot of fun. So here we have the Tempelhof Luminarch. Obviously, because it's the Tempelhof Luminarch, it has a net, which is pretty great. And the front line, bit flimsy with some swordsmen here. He does have Sigmar's Sons, it'll hold up for a while. He does have some more swordsmen. He's got the odd spearman and halberdier kicking around. He does have a couple of great swords, so big mix of infantry, but a lot of layers. So he's got a lot of things for the Luminarch to retreat behind. And of course, he's got the silver bullets, which can get so much damage into such valuable targets. These guys are fantastic. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. So yeah, a lot of his time is going to be spent microing the silver bullets and the Luminarch to get best effect, and the rest of his army is pretty much just going to get charged, and he's just going to leave them to it, pretty much. He does have a couple of Knights of the Blazing Sun as well, which are very handy. They're nice and quick, good shot cav, but he does miss microing them a little bit, as we'll see, but it's fine. Anyway, he's got a Balthazar Gelt. That's right, he has one of those, and yeah, on a Pegasus, which is always good. I mean, he's Balthazar Gelt, isn't he? He's very survivable up in the air. It's very hard to catch him out with much. And when you've got good Overwatch fire with the silver bullets, yeah, he's going to stay pretty happy up there, I think. And of course, he does have Final Transmutation, Piercing Bolts, and Plague of Rust to sunder some armor as well. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So his opponent, we're about to see a couple of his units taking a lot of damage straight away. He has... Oh, it's on its way. Oh, is it coming? This is tantalizing, guys. I'm on the edge of my seat. So, his opponent, a load of Bleak Swords in the front line. Also, he has some Black Art Corsairs. And he has these two units. He has Loki of Fellheart, regenerates in melee. And very, very good duelist. He's very stocky, very hard to kill in melee. Not so hard to kill with a space laser. Yeah, magic laser cannons will do it. So yeah, Loki has taken a ton of damage, and of course, the only way he can regenerate is in combat, so he has to get into combat as quickly as possible, which is tough when he's having to run. Also, a Death Hag, so really just scary duo here. Like, these two duelists, anything on foot, they can absolutely massacre if they can make it that far. So that is very scary for the Dark Elf player here. He also has a couple of Witch Elves. Witch Elves are always great, especially backed up with a load of Spearmen, because Witch Elves can rampage stuff, and it stops them from charging, you know. So Knights of the Blazing Sun, for instance, they get caught out by the Witch Elves, and they are sitting ducks. They need that charge bonus. So if the Witch Elves can get on top of them and load of Spearmen, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. They could be in a lot of trouble. Also, he does have a couple of Dark Rise repeater crossbows, so a ton of armor piercing. Obviously, you've got to watch out for guns with these two. They don't have the best range, but they just get so much AP damage in. They are so good at doing a lot of damage to cavalry. And the cavalry is often the most important thing in the Empire, you know, army. So it's tough. It's tough. Also, over here, you can see a Sorceress of Fire on a Dark Pegasus. So, again, pretty damn useful. That Burning Skull, really good for burning through, you know, big units. You know, just huge lines of infantry. Very handy. And Piercing Bolts does a ton of damage. It is really good if you do manage to rampage some cavalry. Hit them with a Piercing Bolts. It does a ton of armor piercing. So, it's pretty great. Also, a couple of Harpies. So, Balthazar's going to have to watch out. So, speeding things up, you can see Tallahassee's retreating his Tempelhof Luminarch. And he's moving his guns up. So, the Silver Bullet's going to be able to get some good shots into these Dark Riders. So, pretty good initial damage. Yep, not ideal. They've lost 3 models already, 4 models. Yeah, that's not good. 5 models. Oof. Yeah, so that's tough. You want to keep them away from the guns. But of course, these guys stalk, so he didn't see them in there until it was too late. So here, the Luminarch is going to try and shoot these Harpies. It is not very good at that. It's not very good at that. It's fine. There's silver bullets here shooting, so these Harpies, they're not going to last too long. But Balthazar Gelt is taking a lot of damage here, but luckily the Harpies are basically his only threat, so he doesn't have to worry too much. So here, this is very clever of the Dark Elf player, using Piercing Bolts on these guys. If he gets out of the way, it's time spent where he's not shooting at the Harpies. Oop, another massive shot. And the Death Hag is almost dead, and Loki of Fellheart is below half health. Insane. So anyway, that was a great move. Either the Silver Bullets have to move to avoid the damage, and that's time spent not shooting the Harpies, or they have to sit there and take the damage. In which case, they're going to suffer a load of casualties and won't be as effective later. So that's pretty great. But the Harpies were able to, yeah, they were chased off. Now you can see the Sorceress of Fire still looming. She doesn't really want to get involved because that would be very, very dangerous. So she's getting shot horribly, and look at the amount of damage the silver bullets can do. So trying to go in for the Luminarch, because the Luminarch has to be shut down, because look at this. I mean, look at this. So Loki can get into combat now and start regenerating, and basically they're just washing into all of the Empire line, just one unit after another, everything is getting charged. But over here, the Harpies did come back as Balthazar was trying to chase them off. So now, the Sorceress has been netted, so she can't join the fight, and she is going to get gunned down horribly. So she's already broken, but she is still taking horrible damage. Gelt, he is fighting, he's doing okay. He's surprisingly survivable. It takes a while for Harpies to kill things in the air. They can do it eventually, they're very, very annoying like that. But, yeah, as you can see, a load of the bullets from the Sorceress were missing and hitting the Harpies anyway, which is amazing. Just, they're the backboard, so they took a ton of damage in that fight. So, unfortunately, Gelt took a few bullets there, that's fine. But here, this is a bit of a missed micro. You can see the Knights of the Blazing Sun have been taking a huge amount of damage from them. A big Luminarch blast into these guys, trying to whittle them down, and the Great Swords are now in there trying to help. Over here, though, you can see the Knights of the Blazing Sun have got caught out by spears, and there are Witch Elves nearby as well. So this is really bad. So both of the knights have been neglected a bit for all of the sort of backline micro. So all that awesome stuff in the back line has sort of been balanced out by the fact that the front line is getting butchered and his knights aren't being used to the best effect. So another big chunk of damage into the Hellebranai, because if I hold spacebar you can see, look at this. Beautiful shot you can line up, just shoot straight down the line, the Great Swords won't get a scratch. Unfortunately though, here this is looking a bit bad. These Corsairs really need to run off this way and get into these units. But he's keeping them high and tight, trying to get rid of these Halberdiers first. So here we can see a final transmutation. That's going to do a ton of damage against Lokir, and it's going to help damage all these guys, because these Great Swords need all the help they can get. Amazingly, the Death Hag is still alive, which I'm very surprised about. And amazingly, the Dark Riders have been screened by these Spearmen for quite some time. But these guys have rampaged, they're fighting spears, that's annoying. These Knights of the Blazing Sun trying to deal with these Corsairs, but the Witch Elves are in here now, which is also really rough. Piercing Bolts, not Piercing Bolts, Searing Doom, that's the one, Searing Doom, managing to hit the Dark Riders. Quite a lot of damage on the Dark Riders now. Luminarch, though, still going, still going. Oh right, yeah, just killed Lokir. Yeah, its last shot killed Lokir. It's a bit nuts. So, another shot coming in. Over here. That's the Death Hag gone. Cool. Alright, Bleak Swords are, you know, they kind of won that fight. But all the heroes are gone. All the heroes died. They weren't even able to retreat. They all just got killed, which is insane. So balance of power really in the Empire's favour, because a lot of this Dark Elf line is starting to struggle a bit, you know, in terms of leadership. I mean, these are fights they could all win, but all of the damage to their leadership, of everything valuable being killed, it's very bad. So another huge shot straight down the line, but actually that caught out a lot of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, so that's pretty rough. And with the Dark Riders shooting into them, yeah, the cavalry are just gone. Here, Searing Doom, trying to hit those Bleak Swords, but they moved out the way. But it's a cheap spell, and it's unders armor of everything, I think. Does he not have that? Oh, maybe he doesn't have that. Oh, okay, there's the lore attribute that... Oh no, it's metal shifting. I was thinking of the Lore of Dark. No, it adds armor piercing, so similar effect, but the other way around. Anyway, Pyrrhic Victory. Yeah, just Dark Elves can't survive with all their lords and heroes killed. There's just too much value lost. So, absolutely unbelievable. And one thing I'm very sad about this replay, actually, although the net was very useful, is with the Luminarch, I love bringing the basic one, so that way you can see how many chevrons you were able to get with it. Because sometimes you can end up with like a gold chevron if you just bullseye all the lords and heroes with it. You can get crazy amount of chevrons, so you can really see like how much damage you've done with it. And it's almost a challenge, you know, see how many chevrons you can get. It's one of those things, you know, if you can keep it alive, it can just kill so much important stuff. It can net so much value. Net so much value. Yes, the Tempelhof one can, because it has a net. That's hilarious. Anyway, so, yeah, so kind of mismicroed with the Knights of the Blazing Sun. But he kept his back line so in order. You know, he had Gelt sort of just sucking up a load of damage from the Harpies, knowing that he could sustain that damage enough for the other guys to get involved. But it was pretty amazing. That Luminarch, I mean, 90 kills. 90 kills. So it killed a ton of the infantry, as well as basically, yeah, finishing off these two heroes. I mean, It didn't try and get the Sorceress, because the Sorceress is kind of a waste with the Luminarch, because in the air, on a Dark Pegs, this is very hard to shoot at. She is very hard to shoot at, and frankly the Silver Bullets had it in hand. So during that time, the Luminarch was able to shoot other things, like Lokir and all the infantry that were around. But, I mean, this infantry line, it was just tearing this line apart. It was pretty grim. It was looking pretty grim. The cavalry just constantly getting caught out, but it held. It held long enough for this just to be taken apart, one unit at a time. It was amazing. That's real good Empire play here. I absolutely love it. But yeah, this Dark Elf build, I actually really like. Yeah, the chances of bumping into a Luminarch is pretty slim. Usually, you're really safe having things like Lokir and a Death Hag on foot, because it's very hard to hit them with most guns, right, if you're in the front line. The Luminarch doesn't play by those rules. It'll just blast straight through everything. So, it's tough. And he kind of did have the tools to shut down the Luminarch. He just wasn't able to. He just wasn't able to get in there. It was netting too much value before he could really capitalize. It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. So, oh, I said Tallahassee. He's gone back to Sarmatian now. I'm being silly. People need to stop changing their names. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. It's always great to see Luminarch in action. So, guys, if you did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.